You might not be ready for this, but there's a buzz sweeping through the cryptocurrency space, and at the center of it all is XRP and some startling rumors involving BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. Many in the crypto community believe that BlackRock, which oversees over $9 trillion in assets, already holds a substantial amount of XRP behind the scenes. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it gets even more intriguing. Some analysts are suggesting that BlackRock might be preparing to push the price of XRP to previously unimaginable levels, so some even speculate targets as high as $2,000 per coin. While that may sound far-fetched, it's this kind of speculation that makes people sit up and pay attention. The buzz started with a series of cryptic social media posts and subtle financial clues. For example, John Squire and Edo Fiorina hinted at a possible deep connection between Merrill Lynch, now owned by Bank of America, a known Ripple partner, and BlackRock, suggesting that a strategic collaboration has been taking shape right under the public's nose. Further adding to the speculation, user Aminix proposed that not only is BlackRock quietly acquiring XRP, but it may also be developing an XRP-based ETF in the background. The silence from BlackRock's leadership has been interpreted by some as a strategic move, possibly to prepare the legal and financial groundwork before making an official announcement. Influential voices like Vander Ara, co-founder of Black Swan Capitalist, have even claimed outright that BlackRock already holds XRP, implying that the firm has been accumulating it long before the public caught on. But why would a financial titan like BlackRock be interested in XRP in the first place? The answer might lie in three powerful letters: ETF. Exchange-traded funds make it easy for everyday investors and institutions to gain exposure to assets without needing to hold them directly. Imagine being able to buy into XRP on traditional markets just like you would with Apple or Tesla stock. If BlackRock were to launch an XRP ETF, it would signify an enormous leap in institutional legitimacy, opening the doors for new investors who were previously held back by regulatory concerns or technical barriers. XRP, as a digital asset, is uniquely positioned to benefit from this kind of institutional adoption. It's already been integrated into real-world banking infrastructure for cross-border payments and liquidity management. And now, with a US court ruling that XRP is not a security, Ripple and other players have a clear legal pathway to scale operations without the fear of SEC interference. This legal clarity combined with growing institutional interest could mark the beginning of a major shift in how XRP is perceived and used. So while it might have started as speculation, the pieces are beginning to fall into place for what could be one of the most significant moves in crypto history. For a long time, major institutions like BlackRock were legally restricted from investing in assets like XRP, but now that those barriers seem to be lifting, it feels like the door is wide open, and that changes everything. BlackRock has a reputation for moving quickly and discreetly, and if the rumors are true that they're quietly accumulating XRP, it would make perfect sense given their usual strategy. They typically don't announce their moves until their position is already secured, which means that small traders who panic sell, hesitate, or get shaken out at lower prices could unknowingly be handing over their XRP to powerful institutional players at a discount. And if you know BlackRock, you know they don't chase hype or short-term pumps, so they build for long-term control, influence, and sustainability. That's why the idea of them stockpiling XRP isn't far-fetched. It actually aligns with their history and tactics. If they are indeed preparing for a major play, it would likely cause a massive shift in XRP's price, not just a gradual rise, but a potentially explosive move. People are starting to wonder just how high it could go, and while some projections are conservative, others are staggering. Yet based on actual calculations, not just dreams. XRP continues to attract attention, not for hype, but because it's starting to look like a sleeping giant that's finally waking up. Influencers like Ripple Queen have long said this was coming, and the signals on the charts are becoming harder to ignore. Analysts like CryptoBall suggest that while April might be relatively slow, the real action could come in May and June, with momentum building and investor sentiment shifting. XRP may currently be lagging behind some other tokens, but history shows that can change in an instant, especially with how fast it spiked 70% in its last major rally. The next rally is expected to be even more powerful, not out of blind optimism, but because of everything that's aligning beneath the surface. We may be on the verge of a FOMO-driven surge, where latecomers chase green candles while early believers reap the rewards. Some price predictions are within reason, while others are like Steph's tweet suggesting XRP could one day hit $2,000 seem far-fetched, yet still reflect a changing mindset within the community. At the same time, voices like Ido Firino are bringing a more grounded, yet still very bullish perspective. He believes that if the market were functioning fairly, XRP should already be valued above $100, and he stands firm on that, despite the boldness of the claim. His most critical point, though, is that XRP hasn't had its true breakout yet because it's still too tied to Bitcoin's movements. The real explosion, he argues, will come when XRP finally decouples from BTC and starts to reflect its own unique fundamentals. That's when everything could change. With growing legal clarity, clear interest from big players, and infrastructure already being laid out, the pressure is building. If there's any truth to the speculation around a potential BlackRock-backed XRP ETF, then we're looking at something much bigger than a typical price rally. We're looking at a fundamental shift in the financial system, one that puts XRP at its core. Whether the price lands at $10, $100, or some outrageous number like $2,000, it's no longer just about profit. It's about XRP stepping into its role in the evolving monetary framework. On top of all this, Ripple's expanding partnerships are not random, they are strategic moves that could reshape the global banking infrastructure. Most people aren't paying attention yet, but the groundwork is being laid behind the scenes, and by the time they do, Ripple may already be running things from the shadows. The global adoption of XRP is no longer just a buzzword, it's becoming a reality, and with each integration into institutional finance, it becomes clearer that we're on the cusp of something enormous.